Welcome, Realm family, to another episode of Wrestling with the Realm podcast. I'm Brian. I'm one half of the power and glory of Wrestling Podcast. And on the other side, he is the Hercules to my Paul Roma. He's my guy, Will. Will, what are we talking about?
Guys, we enjoyed our topics video so much last time we did it. We're coming at you guys with a part two. Me and Brian, once again, we're at work. We have a lot to talk about at work, and we're just like, let's save it for the podcast. Let's let our viewers know what we got on our mind while we're working the 9 to 5. So, Brian, let's go over because I'm ready to talk. Me and you, we are both in support today. Well, I might need to push you into support.
Yeah, you might have to talk me off the ledge on this one. I feel better after tonight. Monday Night Raw just happened on March 24th, so I feel a little bit better, but take it away, Will.
Let me talk you guys into my problems with everyone and Jey Uso. Myself, I am a huge Jey Uso guy. I was a big Jey Uso guy when he was feuding Roman the first time over, when I started getting back into wrestling, kind of during the pandemic era. I was a big fan when they were in the bloodline of him and Jimmy. And even when I was growing up, I was a fan of the Usos, kind of in general. I think Jay's work to get here is 100% deserved.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know what? So did everyone else. Brian, I appreciate you, and I appreciate our guy, Joe, at work.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have not, you guys aren't wavering back and forth on Jey Uso, which I appreciate. My problem is the fans that are. You guys wanted Jey Uso. You wanted this for him. He should have beat Roman at SummerSlam. We didn't need Cody to finish the story. The narrative on SummerSlam, I believe it was 2024, it was SummerSlam 23, was that Jey Uso should have won that night. Like, he should have won. The story meant more, and it was the bloodline story. So he's the one that should beat Roman, not Cody. Now, hindsight being hindsight, we're all happy. We're all happy that Cody finished his story. It is parlayed into this phenomenal feud between him and Cena, which we'll talk about later. But you guys wanted this. The internet wrestling community wanted this. And now he's getting it. And nothing has changed. It's the same Jey Uso. And now we want to turn our backs on him. I don't understand that. I feel like wrestling fans in general are so contrarian to what they like. You want it, and then they'll give it to you, and then guess what? They don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. We love Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, but now all of a sudden we're gonna start booing Bianca on Monday Night Raw, and we're gonna start booing Rhea Ripley and cheering Io Sky, which cheer Io Sky all you want, but booing the other two. I feel like we're just starting to do the polar opposite of what WWE is trying to feed us, and that's what people did and this is my problem with it. People did this with Roman Reigns. They did it when they tried to give us Roman Reigns and show him that he can be the future of this company, which he could have been, everyone. He is right now. He's the face of it. We started to boo Roman because we don't want Roman. We want Daniel Bryan. They gave us Daniel Bryan. And all of a sudden, what happened? Well, they had to turn Daniel Bryan heel eventually because they started booing Daniel Bryan. Wrestling fans are as flip-flop as it gets. I'm upset that Jey Uso was receiving that on the internet. That's my whole thing. You don't like Jey Uso? You're a little iffy on him, Brian. I agree. Tonight was a step in the right direction because you want to know what they did? They made him do a botch on purpose. And I
Okay.
thought that was a beautiful touch
Yep.
and beautiful storytelling. Because you want to know what he said? I can't beat Gunther. And then you have his brother there. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. The build to this Mania match versus Gunther has not been good. It hasn't been. He hasn't been good in the ring. But give it some time. There's still 26 days at the time of this recording till WrestleMania. He will get there. This feud will get there. And we will remember this hopefully as a good moment for Jey Uso because I know a lot of people are saying Gunther should win. I don't think that's in the cards right now. I don't think we should go off the original plan, which when he won the Rumble was
Mhm.
for Jey to win at WrestleMania.
Right.
I hope the internet, as the internet does, because Triple H is very focused on what the fans want. And that showed when Cody was switched to the main event and they threw an audible in. In my opinion, that's what happened. I know that's very, very heavily discussed, and he won it because that's what the fans wanted. I hope that doesn't happen to Jey here because I think majority of people that isn't the internet wrestling community, which I know is such a small part of wrestling, um, don't want Jey to win. I still hope he wins, man, because he has had a phenomenal year. And it sucks he's putting out his worst work into this build to WrestleMania. But I think with Jimmy being added to the feud and Jimmy versus Gunther,
Hmm.
excuse me, next week, I think that is going to help the build to this feud. And the more you can bring Jimmy into it as kind of Gunther's going to keep going after Jimmy. He's going to go after people in his family, people that Jay loves. Like, I think that's the right direction to go with this feud. I hope they start going in that direction. There's my rant. There's my rant. Everyone.
That's
I'm sorry. I'm a big Jey Uso guy. And for him to finally get his moment and everyone to be dunking on him, it frustrates me a little bit.
everybody. That was Will's rant corner. You'll see
Yeah,
that
my bad,
once every several months, as Will is
guys.
usually very mild mannered. It's usually
Yeah, my bad,
Brian
guys.
who's having the rant. Well, you know what, Will? This whole thing started out as you talking me off the ledge on Jey Uso. Maybe I can talk you off the ledge again with this. So I know exactly where you're coming from and what you're talking about. And it always reminds me, I'm sure there's examples prior to what I'm going to bring up, but when I think back to The Rock when he first came out as Rocky Maivia, and it was very Roman Reigns esque, where it was very clear he was being pushed
Mm-hmm.
as this blue chipper, as he was going to be the next thing, and people didn't want it. They didn't buy it. And it wasn't until he goes out there and just gets to cut a promo and tells the crowd, that they suck while everybody's chanting, Die, Rocky, die. It's once he flipped that switch and he was able to take that character and add his own edge to it, everything changed. And I think sometimes as wrestling fans, we get a little bit caught up in the here and the now, and we just don't let things simmer and see where they take us to. Like we
Yeah.
get spoiled so much. And last year, as great as it was with Cody getting to finish his story, which that's getting as infamous as the Montreal screw job. We'll have an episode on that, everybody. We will do that. But that's starting to get as infamous as the Montreal screw job now, where it's like, was it really an audible? Is this really what they thought? Nobody's ever really going to know except for those guys. Um, but it was great that we got to see Cody finish his story. But at the same time, it did give the internet wrestling community some legs that all of a sudden we can be heard. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not a bad thing. It's just
No.
sometimes you guys being, I say you guys, even though I guess technically we're part of it, Will, but we
Gosh,
don't, we try to, we're much more, I feel like we're much more objective and we're much more mellow about the whole thing. And we just want to be able to watch wrestling and escape into the stories that they tell. Um, some people like to read the back of a book before they start it. Some people like spoilers for big movies so they know what's going to happen. I get it. Some people need that instant gratification for what they want. They want it now. We want Jey Uso. He won the Royal Rumble. Awesome. We want him to win WrestleMania. Oh no, there's a build up to WrestleMania and we don't like how it's going. Okay, it's not done yet. Still have 26 days
exactly.
until we get to WrestleMania. Now, my whole thing with Jey is I believe in Jey. I want Jey to be as good as I think he can be because he has all of the trappings of, I can't put him in the same category as Shawn Michaels, but you guys know what I'm talking about. He's coming from that uh, same group of wrestlers where he started out as a tag team guy. He was a tag team specialist, uh, and then you start breaking people apart in tag teams. And Jey has that charisma. He has that X factor. He can do things. He can talk. He gets over. That's not for nothing. Um, and I think the sky's the limit for Jey. And my only disappointment is that the character that they were giving us since the Royal Rumble, the little engine that could, very indignant, anytime he talks to Kathy Kelly or Jackie Redmond, there's almost tears in his eyes about how nobody thinks he can do it, but he can do it. And you go, that kind of stuff wears off after a little while. You can only do that so many
Yes.
times before it becomes inauthentic and people need something more. So that takes us to last week with his botch that he had going over the top rope. Because I come into work the next day and Joe is right away. He's like, dude, what's going on with Jey? He wasn't even close. And I'm like, I got to look at it some more to try to get an idea of what's going on. There's really only two things. One is he botched it. He knew he botched it. He got back in the ring. He acknowledged it and then was going to go again. And then Gunther comes in and grabs him. Okay. That's option number one. Weird because I wonder what would have happened if he wouldn't have botched it. He clearly had to get back in the ring because Gunther was coming in no matter what. So I don't know what would have happened if he wouldn't have botched it. But
Good
then when
point.
you watch it again, you kind of look and you go, he is kind of grabbing the rope. Was it intentional? And this is a story that they had going forward to kind of kick this thing into a different gear. I don't know. We're wrong about a lot of stuff. So I won't even try to say which one of those scenarios I think it is. Um, but whether that's what they intended or not, they cleaned it up tonight on Raw. They had him do an intentional botch in the corner where he slips. You got the commentary team are all over it. Side note on the commentary guys, I like Pat McAfee, but Pat McAfee is starting to turn into Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah,
He's
see,
starting
oh
to
my
do it,
God.
dude.
I thought that
Bro,
today.
I can't remember what the thing was in the very beginning. He said, I'm like, he's literally going Gorilla Monsoon, where he's saying the thing he shouldn't be saying, but he's doing it. And you go, why are you saying that? Like we just did our review of WrestleMania 6 and
Hmm.
Gorilla, with that being fresh in your mind, he always would do things where he would call out stuff. And you're like, why are you calling that out? Why are you drawing attention to this? Why are you saying something that you think is kayfabe, but really you're just making it look worse? Pat's becoming that. And don't get this wrong, everybody. It ain't bad. I'm down
No,
with it
me
because
too, dude. I
it,
love
it
it.
it makes him such a different character than playing because he never really plays a face or a heel commentator.
He's just Pat.
He's just Pat. And again, he's just Gorilla. So
Hmm.
Pat McAfee, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but I'm dubbing you New Gorilla, and I'm here for it. I'm down with it. But
Yeah.
anyway, so back to our buddy Jey. So you got the commentary crew, they're all on it, talking about, oh, he slipped, he's had a couple of bad weeks, and now you start incorporating that into the story. So now when he's in the back with Jimmy and he has to have that pep talk from Jimmy that, no, man, you can't win. Not this Jey Uso. I need the Jey
Yeah.
Uso who won the Royal Rumble because this ain't working. So now you kind of have the doubter in him. He doesn't just have to come out and be all full of intensity and false bravado that nobody thinks I can do it, but I can do it. We all know that. Show us some depth to that, because the base layer is the other stuff. Start giving us some depth to it. Now you're starting to weave in those elements where you have self-doubt for him, because he has botched a couple of things. And again, if it was a real botch, kudos to them for writing it into the story, because it's making it better by having that. And if it was an intentional botch last week to do this, my hat's off to you guys again. And that should be another lesson for everybody to just calm down. Just let everything play out, And it's so interesting because we'll get to John Cena, but when you bring up that everybody wants Jey Uso to win, they want him to win with Roman Reigns. Everybody wants that. And then as soon as they get what they want, now they're not happy about it. That's exactly what John Cena is talking about. And that's what makes this turn for John Cena a believable one. And it's making that story mean more than what it could have without having The Rock have to be there. Cena was eating it up again. But I don't know if we want to get into that next.
No, let's get into that because man, John Cena is just keeping it 100 with everyone. He's
Yep.
just he's turning the mirror around on everyone and um I thought his promo his first time out was it was I think everyone was like, "Man, that's the greatest promo ever." I didn't necessarily feel that way. I thought there was phenomenal moments when he said, "You guys are making this so
Mm-hmm.
easy for me." And
Yep.
he said it again tonight.
Yep.
He's like, "Look at you people. Look at you." And I think that was phenomenal. I thought when Cody came out the first time and just said that he is, profanity words we don't use here on Wrestling with the Realm and called him a crybaby. And then John just walked away.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, that was just, it was a weird end to the segment because John didn't, get him back. And that's usually what John does. This, just like how they cleaned it up with Jey Uso this week, they did it once again this
Yeah.
week because this promo from John Cena and Cody's response to it was phenomenal. I loved it.
You can't get to B without having A first. And last week's promo with him, they're ramping up and they're building it.
Yeah.
And they're doing it in such a cheap heat way. Like all the heat that John Cena is getting right now is what's known as cheap heat, everybody. If you guys are watching us, you know what that means. It's easy, it's cheap heat, but it works because there's an element of truth to it. So last week, when Cena comes out and shoots his promo, and then Cody at the end tells him, I don't want to face this John Cena. I was excited. I wanted to face that John Cena. You better find him before we get to WrestleMania, because if this John Cena shows up, I'm going right through him. And you
Yeah.
go, that's the right thing for Cody to be saying at that moment, because
Hmm.
he's still in disbelief of who is this John Cena who comes out here and is basically being a crybaby about the whole thing, which is ironic because we have Cody crybabies. But um, you know, but then this week when Cena comes out, you have all of that foundation laid from last week, and he starts adding more on top of it. So you have the
Yeah.
basement foundation floor poured last week. This week he comes out, and now he starts building and gives you the perfect, you're all horrible. And he says, last week, I came out here and I put a little kid on blast, and
Yeah.
WWE hosted it, and all of you
Oh man.
loved it. And then he kind of does a tell me what I'm wrong about. You
Yeah.
guys are proving my point. Then they start going into the F John Cena chant. And again, he gets to say, I'm coming out here telling you guys exactly what the truth is. And what your response is to use profanity. Like literally just proving his point. And it's those rare times when the superstars and the performers can get a reaction that they anticipate is coming, but get it with such precision that it just makes it feel so believable, especially with John Cena. He's doing such a great job. I love that he just walks away again, stops this time, and wants to listen a little bit longer, and then turns back around and leaves. He made his intentions very, very clear what he wants to do. I love that he said he wants to win the
Oh yeah.
17th title so everybody can shut up and forget about woo Ric Flair. It's done. That'll be over. We don't got to hear about that anymore. And he's going to take his ball and go home. He's going to win that championship. He's going to retire with it. And now you guys can come out with something else because guess what? It's all done after that. I'm going to break the game. And
Yep.
it felt so authentic. So when he just walks away and he doesn't engage with Cody, you go, why would he? That's not what he's not here to be beating up on Cody week in and week out. He has a very clear objective of why he sold out to The Rock. It's to win 17 championships and finally shut everybody up so he can go away with maybe a little bit more respect than what he came in with because nobody's earned it. And I think I don't want to call it genius because it's relatively simple, but I feel like it's working. And the more that he doesn't engage with Cody, we get to see the temperature on Cody get turned up. Because at
Yeah.
what point, and again, it's at the heart of it, you go, we're not getting Cody Lander. He's a true blue babyface at this point, and that's fine. We need one of those. We haven't had one of him since the 80s and the 90s. So it's cool and it's refreshing. But what makes that better is one that person, it's almost like Batman, okay? So in The Dark Knight, the Joker wants Batman to do one thing. He has to break his rule. Batman has one rule. He doesn't kill. The Joker makes it real clear to him. All he cares about is if you want to stop me, the Joker, you're going to have to break your one rule. And how hard can he push Batman to the edge to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of that way with Cody, where the longer it goes on with John Cena not engaging and doing that, at what point does Cody start to do things that are questionable? He's done it in the past. We've talked about it. That starts to make the story a little bit more interesting because the further he goes, the more John Cena has ammunition to point to it to everybody else and say, you're cheering him. Why? John Cena is essentially turning into the 2025 version of Jesse Ventura. He's pointing out everything to everybody. You guys will cheer him. Why? Because he's your favorite right now. But just like the Joker tells Batman, they like you now, but wait till the chips are down. They'll turn on you just like everybody else. So Cena, bravo. You're doing good work.
Yes, I think it was phenomenal when he came out and he said, I want to ruin professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what's going to put Cody up against his morals. That's what's going to push Cody's limit. Why? Because that's what Cody loves. He loves the fans. He loves professional wrestling. And he is, he's that true blue face, but his limits are going to get pushed. You can see it
Mm-hmm.
promo by promo. He's getting more and more frustrated. So it's going to be interesting to see as we move on how far they're willing to bring Cody to, that Cody Lander state
Yep.
against a heel John Cena. Um, so I mean, it's the right way they're building it. They're doing a great job with this.
And let's not forget the other part of the story. There's two sides to this story. I still
Yes,
like to
they're
think that we're on a redemption arc for John Cena. He's not, I don't think he's leaving a heel. I think we have to go on this ride because we're going to get to the point of, because now the question should be, honestly, what brings Cena back? Because it would be hard to
down.
believe that he'll go away this way. So you have to start thinking, what is it going to take to bring him back to the good side? What is he willing to do? What is Cody willing to do? And maybe those are some of the things that does bring Cena back. No, I went on a weird Batman analogy there, but it felt right. It felt like there's a
It did.
correlation to that slightly.
it did feel right. I don't think it was too weird. I was picking up what you were putting down there.
All right, you guys
Um,
let me know if I was way off in left field or if it makes sense.
no, I don't think you were way off in left field. Speaking of getting put down though, Finn Balor.
Hmm.
Let's just move on into it. Um, Finn Balor is not winning wrestling matches anymore. And me and Brian just wanted to quickly touch on this one because he actually came out of Monday Night Raw looking strong,
Yeah.
attacking Penta and Braun Breaker, which I thought it was weird we got that match
Do you want to talk about
tonight.
that match real quick? Because I got a few thoughts on that. I don't know if you got anything about that match with Braun and Penta.
Not a whole lot. They didn't have a lot of time. It felt like weirdly rush and spot forced. Like no actual like chain wrestling, just spots.
It so that match, it was, I know it was the main event, but I watched it right before jumping on here, and I had to roll back a few moments of it. That was not a clean match. That was not by any stretch of the imagination a good match for
Mm,
either guy. And I already have controversial thoughts on Penta that will make people mad at me. I don't think he's that great. We'll get into it on overrated, underrated part three. Um, I know everybody's going to be mad at me, but
they're gonna be
he
mad.
hasn't shown me anything. First of all, I'm done with the uh, if only you would have seen him when he did blank. If only you would have seen this person when they were doing blank. I didn't see that. I'm seeing this. So that's what I'm basing it
Very
off
fair
of.
point.
And that was not a clean match at all. And I'm I'm curious to see if Uncle Dave Meltzer is going to have any little tidbits that he's going to say about this. Because if you wanted to make some stuff up, this is a good one that you could do. Not to insinuate that Dave just makes stuff up, but he probably makes stuff up. Um, but there was a chop. I know you saw it. It was when they came back from commercial, and Penta just gives Breaker a huge chop. Breaker no sells hard. And did you notice there was a spot earlier in the match, and Braun Breaker goes out? If we're looking at the TV, he goes out to the left side of the screen.
Mhm.
We
I
see
know what
him
you're talking about.
run back to the other side, get outside right there so they can do another move. So there was a bunch of stuff off in that match that were botched and not cool, and it stood out like a sore thumb. And I'm I'm glad Judgment Day showed up to make something more out of that at the end because otherwise
Yeah.
it was pretty sloppy. But back to
Um,
Finn, he did come out looking stronger in this, which was an interesting turn.
I think this is the first time since they won the tag titles, which they did nothing with,
Mm-hmm.
but the first time since they won, him and JD won the tag titles, that Raw closed and Finn Balor looks strong.
Yeah.
Dude, refreshing. I can't tell you guys how much I love Finn Balor. He's talented in the ring. He is his face work on the mic. This might be controversial to some people, is better than his heel work. Um, so I'm on two separate sides of this with Finn. I'm happy he looks strong, but he's aligning himself back with the Judgment Day and like kind of putting himself as the leader. Now we still have this whole new member thing,
Yeah.
but like tonight, I don't know if you felt this way. It felt like they were just kind of like putting him back towards the Judgment Day's direction, and it felt a step away from singles and Demon Finn Balor and Balor Club Finn Balor, which when he is that version of himself, he is world championship material. And I thought we were breaking out towards that way, and it felt a step in the wrong direction, even though he did look strong. So I'm not going to complain too much.
So, Will, you got to do some little education on me here. So, Finn Balor's the demon persona, how did that get created? Was there something that happened that then he came back from a hiatus or something, and that was the gimmick that he came out with? How did that work?
It's kind of just, and this is not a WWE exclusive thing. When he was New Japan Pro Wrestling, when he was working the indies, it is big match Finn Balor attire. He brings the demon out. The demon only comes out when Finn needs it. The last time the demon came out, Hell in a Cell against Edge, WrestleMania 39, and he had to bring it out. Now, he still lost. I don't like it when he rolls out the demon and he loses because that just, I don't know, defeats the purpose for me. If he's going to be Finn Balor, just let him go out there in normal attire. But it is just the big match feel that he can like take it up a notch, which it's weird when you're talking about a gimmick taking it up a
Hmm.
notch, but it's not just the face paint, it's the entrance he does with it. The theme song switches, he's crawling on the ground and he pops up and the whole crowd puts their arms up. When he was doing this in NXT and he was NXT champion, and that's when he defended the title, it came out, dude, just so, I know aura is a big word, dude, so much aura. He was the future of pro wrestling for
Hmm.
a little bit, and that's why they had him beat an authority figure, Seth Rollins, at SummerSlam. And if that buckle bomb never happened where his shoulder went out of place, I don't even know if we're sitting here talking about him going into WrestleMania season in an intercontinental championship feud. That probably be a little below him at this point. He is he was just on a different track. He won the Universal Championship in his first ever match fighting for a um World Heavyweight or WWE Championship. So,
Hmm.
I mean, Finn Balor was the man. He was the man, multiple time NXT champion. Um so to see him where he is now is just it's tough that even after he came back, no one ever pulled the trigger on him or anything of the sort. But yeah, that is what Finn
Hmm.
Balor was and can still be, but I think he needs to get disattached from the Judgment Day to do so.
It sounds like if the demon Finn Balor were to come out, it would be even sweeter now because he's at a very low place. Like this seems like
Yes,
the time for a rebirth.
absolutely.
They've clearly been teasing it. We've talked about it before. Um, Boy, he that demon character also feels like he'd fit in with the Wyatt Six, but I'm not gonna go there with the Wyatt Six stuff. But it just feels like there's a roller skate and a key there. Um, I definitely think it's time for a rebrand with Finn, and that demon character seems awesome, and it seems like that might be the place where we need to get to because even though he comes out of this Raw looking a little bit stronger, there's clearly still big cracks in the Judgment Day
Yes.
between him and Dom.
It's time to switch something with the Judgment Day, in my opinion. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, but it's time for a change. But as Finn Balor is looking strong, he is interfering in a championship match. Dude, are we going for another triple threat match going into WrestleMania? What is going on? Because you have an official Punk Rollins Roman WrestleMania triple threat. You have what I'm assuming, because Bianca is the special guest referee now for this Rhea and Io match. Dude, this might be WWR WrestleMania. Like,
Yeah.
are we seriously going to have three triple threat matches? Do I think this is going to be a triple threat? I mean, Finn was eyeing up the belt again. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, maybe, unless Dom screws him out of this. But where does that leave Braun Breaker with Penta at WrestleMania? I'll tell you guys,
Oh,
I'm not necessarily, and I'm a Penta guy. I'm a Braun Breaker guy. Um, I'm not necessarily wanting to see that at WrestleMania after tonight. That looked like
for
you
real.
could slap that on a Saturday night's main event. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
No shots at Saturday night's main event. It's
No.
great vibes, but they haven't been the best shows. So, you know, Brian, just give me your thoughts on just the you at work today called it triple threat a palooza.
That's right. Triple
That
threat
is
of Palooza.
that is where we are going. So just give me your thoughts on that.
Yes, I'm gonna coin the phrase triple threat of Palooza because I feel like that's what we're working to. So so on the men's side, we have Roman, Punk, and Seth Rollins. Okay, we know that that's happening. I'm excited that the favor is finally going to get cashed in. CM Punk
Yeah,
is literally telling us somehow he's using that favor. I think we're going to get implications on this triple threat match that will affect night two, getting
love it.
somebody into the main event. So I'm going to take that I was like a quarter to half right with something like that there will be a stipulation somehow that'll have to be worked in to get to night two. Otherwise, that match means nothing if you don't have
Hold
that.
on, hold on, wait a second. You're
Yeah.
underselling yourself right here. I feel like I'm gonna give you 75% credit.
Ooh, that's a
You
lot.
were really you were loving The Rock and Roman Reigns,
Yeah.
but you said that if there is a triple threat, that there will be implications for night two. I feel like we're on the way there
We have to be.
because
Have to be.
we have to be because like you said, if there's no implications and this is just I hate you, no, I hate you. Well, I'm CM Punk and I hate no one. I'm just here for business. And if you were to have him go out there and say that, I'm just here for business, and then nothing is implied to for the winner, he looks foolish being out there almost because then why not just have Roman versus Seth?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I feel like there is going to be implications, and that right there, that's exciting because three dudes that are future Hall of Famers being in a triple threat match to figure out who's going to get added to the night two main event, who's the number one contender for
Yep.
WrestleMania Backlash, like whole lot of stuff that you could parlay off of this, which is exciting.
It also gives Punk a chance where again, I think he's my favorite person, my favorite character right now is because this version of him is so focused on what he wants to do. It's not unlike John Cena. Punk has said it from the very beginning. He wants to main event WrestleMania. He's made it very clear what he wants to do. He's made it clear about his personal feelings about stuff. He did it when he did the great promo before Elimination Chamber, when he's like, I got problems with you. I got problems with you. Priest, we're cool. I don't got any problems with you. But if you get in there, I'm going to have to do business in there with you. So like, he's made it very clear. Roman and Seth have all of their stuff. CM Punk just wants to get to a main event. And what does he have to do to get there? That means we have a favor. We have a final boss who likes getting people what they want in the main event. Like you have so many ways that you can go. Wouldn't that be crazy if Punk is the third member of Two Guys and a Mark with The Rock and John Cena and Travis Scott? Like that totally could be a thing. And I would go, I believe it because he just wants the main event. I'm not saying that is going to happen, but I'm saying this character of CM Punk right now, in the way that he's laid things out, in the way that he shoots a promo, even the way he works in these matches, it's all very calculated for one thing and one thing only. So I'm glad that there will be a stipulation, assuming there will be, on this triple threat match. So now it has implications on it. On the women's side, I think we don't have anything concrete yet, but I think that's all been decided that that's going to be a triple threat
Yeah.
somehow. I mean, it's kind of weird that we have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky next week, and the winner of that is going to go on to WrestleMania to face Bianca. It's almost like we're rewriting history with that. But then we get a special guest referee, and I was right back on. I
Love
was like,
it.
oh my God, I'm so excited.
Love
I love
it.
it. I love it, and I love how Bianca sold it. She's like, I don't know how to be a referee. She's like, well, you better figure
Mhm.
it out. So now she gets to get both people mad at her. Now we have our triple threat. I guess I'm okay with it. I have to get used to the triple threat of Palooza. But two is all we need. One on each night. We can't do more than that. So when we get into Finn and Dom and the IC championship and all of that. I do not want a triple threat for that. That's one too many. But I like what they're cooking with. They're trying to get Braun Breaker involved in some other things because as as good as Braun Breaker is, he almost has that Tiffy time thing where we go, "Ooh, you're not completely polished yet." And we didn't talk about Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton's promo uh, on SmackDown, and they did Tiffany dirty on that one. I don't know if that's what they were
Dog.
intending,
Yeah, they
but
did. She got cooked.
and
She got cooked for why?
it's and she'll be fine. Like that's not gonna kill her character. It's not The Rock coming out with Billy Gunn and just totally destroying him on a promo and killing his push. That's not gonna happen. She'll be fine. Braun Breaker will be fine, but I think we need to start having him play off of other people. We talked about that where if he was a hypothetical new member of the Judgment Day, you give him people to play off of, and it makes him better. So I like what they're doing. I don't want to see Penta and Braun Breaker again. I don't know if that's just a clash of styles. I don't know if there's something else that was going on there, but their communication was off and that match was horrible. It looked not great. I don't watch AEW, but I'm assuming that's like a highlight match for them from what I hear. But I don't know if that's true because I don't watch it. So when I sorry, so
Throwing sprays,
so
dog. Throwing them. This
I
time
don't
at a whole company.
I don't I didn't mean it to sound like that. Uh, so you got Braun Breaker getting involved with other people. That's great. I just don't want it to be a triple threat match. We have enough of that going on. I don't think we need another one. I mean, they could be breaking up going into Dom versus Finn. You could have
Yes.
Braun Breaker with Penta again. Penta seemed
Uh,
pretty adamant about it last week when he was like, whatever he said about wanting all the continents or some such. So we assumed he meant the Intercontinental Championship. But that's
ah,
weird. But that's weird if that's one match though, and it's just a match on Monday Night Raw. So maybe we're gonna
yeah.
get that again, even though nobody really wants it. Maybe they'll rethink it now. But we don't need a triple threat for that. I don't know if I answered the triple threat of Palooza question. I think I just started
You did.
throwing out strays on people with not meaning to do that. I'm just trying to be honest, everybody. I'm just
Yeah.
keeping it
Hold up.
100.
What? Cody Crybabies,
Yeah,
AEW, Penta,
yeah,
everyone caught it straight. Everyone.
yeah.
Um, no, you did. I think you broke it down as best as possible.
Okay.
Um, I just it's interesting you go off of AJ Styles versus Braun Breaker
Mm-hmm.
for AJ Styles and Penta. Weird, weird stuff. I think AJ Styles runs laps around Penta. Current day AJ
Yeah,
Styles runs laps around Penta. And you could have had Penta wrestle Logan Paul, and that would have been perfectly fine. And I think people would have actually enjoyed that. Now, Logan Paul versus AJ Styles is going to go
yeah.
crazy at
It'll be a good match.
WrestleMania. It's going to be a really good match. But that being said, come on. I don't know. There's something better out there for Braun Breaker. How about a Drew McIntyre who's currently stuck with Damian Priest? And
Right.
it's not the feud for either of them. So why not throw him a Drew McIntyre? I don't know. I don't know.
I
But
mean, maybe Dom gets involved in that, but we already saw Dom and Braun. Does that like I don't know. Poor Braun Breaker just feels like again he's a little bit listless right now. He doesn't have any storylines that have caught fire. We're trying to do some things, but it all seems so nebulous right now. And I know I'm the same guy who said earlier in this episode to just let things simmer, let it cook, and let's see what happens with it. Well, that's for when there's stuff actually in the frying pan. Like this doesn't feel like Braun has anything in there. We're
there's
throwing things
nothing.
in there and we're hoping that it tastes good. And right now, him in the Judgment Day, that seems like that could be interesting. Do you do like I'd be okay with him and Finn having a match at WrestleMania. Maybe that's is that how we get the demon back after WrestleMania if he loses again? Like there's a way that you can do that to make it work. It's a mid-card championship. I wish it was elevated a little bit more because I like Braun Breaker so much. Um, but right now, it doesn't seem like they have it figured out which way they want a story to go with him. But that's okay. I will wait and see
Yep. Yep.
because
That's
I like
um
seeing him in the ring.
yeah, that's 100. And you want to know he is getting better on the mic too.
Yeah.
So Braun Breaker potentials through the roof. Speaking of mid card championships, are we about to have no women's mid card titles defended at WrestleMania? How pointless would that be? And this is gonna transition us through the rest of our episode right
Uh
here
huh.
because there's a whole lot to talk about in the women's mid card. It needs to get thinned out soon, and they are running out of time. I know we were talking when we were talking about Jay, we were like, there's time. There is time.
Yep.
There's time for a feud that started at WrestleMania. There's not time for a feud that hasn't even been built yet for most of these girls. Lyra versus Raquel, one of Lyra's better matches. Raquel was all right. Outside of the Hurricane Rana that looked really, really poor,
Hmm.
where she flicked Raquel over the announce table. And a few spots where Raquel and her, they're just a little too slow for each other. I thought it was a fine match. Um,
I will give Lyra Valkyria her credit. I'm not going to shoot any strays at her. I was like, I'll give her props. It was one of the best matches I've seen her have.
mhm,
Her selling the kick early in the match that Raquel gave her when she came off the top rope, I went, that looked great. They made that look hard. It looked stiff. She sold it great. It looked really, really
mhm.
good. And that was one of those things where I went, okay, she showed me something else. She showed me that she can work with um, somebody who's bigger than her in the ring, and she was selling properly. I thought it was a good match by her. I'm not going to dog on her this week about it. It was a good match. Um, it makes me wonder where they're going to go with Liv, though. Maybe Liv gets slid into this IC championship talk.
Or hear me out here, Brian. I wasn't wrong about the direction I was going. It's just not Becky Lynch and Lyra
Right,
Valkyria for the tag titles at WrestleMania.
right.
It's now Bailey. And
Yep.
how disappointing is that? Wow, I am just kind of like, dang, this is what we got. It's going to be Bailey and Lyra Valkyria versus Liv and Raquel. Like, dang. I'm just like, that's all I have to say about it. I'm just like, oh, we couldn't do better. Like,
Yeah,
you couldn't get Becky out the house to do that because like they're not gonna. I don't see them beating Liv and Raquel. And then you have a Bailey heel turn. She can't pull a Big Show and just go face
right.
heel. Like no, you gotta stay one or the other for here for a little bit.
When we get to Chelsea Green, you add Elba Fire to her crew. So what's all that about? Like,
Um, dude, beats me. Like I thought we were getting Piper Niven, Chelsea Green, and you got
right.
less than 30 days to build it. Like, is she upset that Alba Fire's in the secret security secrets or whatever they call it? I think whatever they got going on with that, it almost might be too early to break it up.
Right.
Um, you could easily just have Nikki Bella come out and you can have like a little throwback, almost like diva match, like feel to it, which might be refreshing for some fans that are around. I don't know that were growing up watching it when I was, because that's what we grew up off of was Nikki Bella. I know um, Chelsea Green actually said she wants to do a hair versus hair match versus Nikki Bella at WrestleMania.
Awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That
So
would
you
be
could
awesome.
easily, it could just for them happen like that. Um,
I feel like if you do that though, are we going to run the risk of making that U.S. Women's Championship kind of a joke?
yes, Yes.
That's part of the problem is that,
Yeah, you want it to be legit.
and that's why with Lyra Valkyria, we were talking about, could it be Becky Lynch? Um, or even now, like I said, if it's Liv Morgan, I feel like you help that championship a lot by doing something like that. Um, and nothing against Michin, but those are fun matches with her and Chelsea Green, but it's not, I don't think it has any cachet to it for that championship yet. So they got to be real careful with how they play this. We all love Chelsea Green. We're glad that she won that tournament. It gets back to what we opened the show with, that sometimes what the internet wrestling community wants, once you get it, sometimes be careful what you wish for, because now we got
Yeah.
Chelsea Green like we wanted, but now they got to be real careful that they don't make that title not a joke, because that's not fair to Chelsea Green. Chelsea
No, it's
Green's
not.
not a joke, but the way her form of a heel is very, oh, people are gonna hate me for this, is very honky tonk man, and I don't mean that in such a negative way.
Yeah, no, I
I
get
don't
what
mean
you're
it like
saying.
that.
It
Honky
sounds
tonk man was one of the
negative.
greatest Intercontinental champions of all time, I tell you. You
Yeah,
know,
I think other
but
people would be like they'd be upset with that because they're like Honky Tonk Man. We hate Honky Tonk Man. Why was he the longest reigning
yeah,
Intercontinental Champion? No, Chelsea Green's just very gimmicky, and
yeah,
it's not a bad thing. I feel like that's what she wants to be. That was the point of
yeah,
her,
yep,
and she was the right pick for the U.S. the
yeah,
first U.S. champion. And but when you're doing a hair versus hair match, like that feels almost like a little too total divas for what we're
yeah,
trying to make the belt, especially it being brand new. At the same time, putting it on a legend like Nikki Bella wouldn't be a bad thing. But like, what's her availability? You also want your champions to be there.
right,
Um, I don't know. Outside of that, it's Piper Niven for me.
yeah.
Um, lucky thing for that is those two feuds you could build like that. I mean, they'd be quick.
Right. It doesn't take much if you wanted to have her and Piper Niven. Like that literally does not take that much to get to that point. So I mean, yes, we don't have a ton of time left, but we do have time if that's the route that they want to go.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just a little bit more concerned for a person like um Lyra because I think the direction they're going is unfortunately that belt is not going to be defended at WrestleMania. I think she's going to fight alongside Bailey for the tag titles, and I don't know if they're going to win. I don't think that's the correct move either. I think Liv should retain at WrestleMania, and you have some high praise you want to give Liv Morgan for a match that she had this week. And guys, I'm gonna be completely honest with you here. For the first time in a long time, I missed a wrestling show. I did not watch Friday Night SmackDown. So Brian's gonna walk you guys through this match between Liv and Jade.
So I know it's a big surprise to everybody. I was like, listen, we have to make a note. I got to keep my streak going. I gotta talk about Liv in a glowing way. Because I hear everybody else, everybody's coming over to my side. They're drinking the Liv Morgan Kool-Aid. It tastes good and there's plenty to go around. Everybody is finally starting to see what I've been talking about for a while. And I mentioned this to Will today. I said a lot of these superstars that I don't have a connection with until now gives me kind of a blank slate, non bias opinion. I do know that her and Rhea Ripley had their falling out, and then that sprung the whole thing when she comes back with Dom and Rhea, and I loved it. It's so good. So I jumped in from that point. So all I can go off of is what I've been watching, and she's been aces. She's been an MVP since that storyline started, and she elevates everything. But it's not just those things. It's her as a worker, what she's able to do that I think shows maturity and how far she's come. It started back in the Royal Rumble. I'd pointed out right away when Lyra Valkyria almost has a wardrobe malfunction, and Liv is the one who sees that, gets her to a corner so she can fix it. So she has her match with Jade Cargill on SmackDown. It went just over 8 minutes, so it was a long match for Jade. And they're in the match, and it might be Jade Cargill's best match that I've seen her have. And they were starting to do the things that Will and I were talking about, how you can fix her and make her better, is don't have her do things she can't do. Keep it simple. Find what she does really well and let the other person work around that. And that's exactly what Liv did. But there was one spot towards the end of the match. Liv is down, and Jade Cargill is going to grab her, and she's going to pull her up and put her on her shoulders and do some move. And while Liv is down on the mat, Jade should be pulling her up by her right arm to set this move up. She reaches down, she grabs Liv's left arm, and you can see Liv's hands take her hand off, put it onto the right arm, because that's the proper way to do it. And I said, I'm sure that's second nature for most of the performers, but when it stands out and you can see it, it made me say, okay, I see why they have faith in Liv Morgan, why they put her in spots, because she's going to be able to do it, and she was helpful. It's no coincidence that Jade Cargill's first pin in the WWE or whatever it is came at the hands of Liv Morgan, even though it was kind of a schmaz, but that's what the Judgment Day does. It was a good match, and Liv was great again, and she keeps coming up in big spots. So I tip my hat to you, Ms. Morgan. Some WrestleManias, they finish stories. Some WrestleManias start new ones. Sometimes you get a mix of both. This WrestleMania in particular feels like it's starting stories. This is not the blow-off matches. This is that a lot of these seem like that Empire Strikes Back middle chapter of a story, and we're going further with the big blow-off. It just feels that way. It feels like we're getting not as many conclusions, but to be continued at this WrestleMania.
I feel that way. I feel that way about John and Cody. It's the
Yeah.
start of Cody losing the title and winning it back. Cody on the chase, always better than Cody with the belt, even
Yep.
though both are great. Um, I think it's the same with the triple threat match, both of them. I think this is the beginning of Bianca versus Rhea. Sorry, Io Sky, even though you are the crowd favorite. And when I was on my rant, I sounded very angry talking about Io Sky. Dude, Io Sky is
She
phenomenal.
is.
And she should be a crowd favorite.
She's on your all-time War Games team.
She is. She is on my all-time
Yeah.
War Game team. She's phenomenal. But that's the start of something. And I feel like even with this, what we're talking about is the start of maybe I think one way or another, if it's a Bailey heel turn, if it's the start of Liv and Raquel, some friction there, so we can get our Shawn Michaels and Diesel storyline that we like. I feel like it's the start of stuff, and I even feel that way about like a Jade Cargill. Like this is gonna be the start of her singles career. I'm really like putting that out there for her. I think it's the start, like when she beats Naomi at WrestleMania. Like I hope it's a great match for her and she can start parlaying that into a great year. And
Yep.
like, she is the type of person that has a great aura. The look is great. And if you make her stuff short, sweet, to the point, dude, she could be a world champion. That's not crazy to say. That's
Yeah.
how the company views her for sure, even if it's not how me and you do.
Right. And
Um,
again, I don't want people to get it twisted with us. We're not trying to be hard on Jade Cargill. We've said it a million times on here. We both want her to be successful because she could be amazing. But I'm also going to call balls and strikes and call it the way that I see it. And I hope she has a good match at WrestleMania against Naomi, because it's just what you said, Will. She needs to have a good match. She needs to have a good big match on a big stage, and then start parlaying that into other good matches. And before you know it, she'll be off and running. I
yep.
just think she needs to do that. And this match with Liv on SmackDown was a good start to that. It was a longer singles match for her than what she's used to. she didn't have to lead in that match. When is the last time Liv Morgan put on a complicated submission hold down on the mat for 30 seconds to a minute?
No, that's a
It
good
happened in
question.
that match with Jade Cargill. You know why?
Yeah,
Because that's 30 seconds or a minute where Jade Cargill doesn't have to be working in the match, but it
yeah,
doesn't take away from what's going on in the match. That's
100%.
how you work those and how you book them. And they were doing it there, and it worked, and it made me happy because I thought, okay, good, they're doing exactly what they should do with her. So hopefully she comes out the other side of WrestleMania looking like the way that we hope that she can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't have any other notes for this episode, but I know that, we're talking about a lot of stuff that has happened this week. Guys, I need one more week. I need to see how Tiffany responds to Charlotte Flair because she got cooked. I mean, plain, like point blank simple, like she got cooked up by Charlotte
Yeah,
on the mic. And they really didn't even give her a chance to respond. Like, she literally said, "No, stop talking. The queen talks first." And when she said that, I was like, "Oh no,
yeah,
she's in for it." Um, 1 week, I'm gonna give it some time. I don't have thoughts on it quite yet because simply they just didn't give her a chance to respond really. And when she did, Charlotte just talked over her. That doesn't mean she didn't get cooked. She did, but I'm gonna give it a
yeah.
minute.
And Tiffany Stratton's bread and butter for her is her in-ring work because it is so good. But when she does the big dive off of the video screen at the entrance, like it looks great. She looks good doing it. You believe everything she does in the ring, and she got exposed on the mic. Maybe that was on purpose. Maybe this is going to come back again, or maybe the writers are really quick on their feet, like they were with Jey Uso and the botch, and they turn this lemon into lemonade, or maybe it was the plan all along. I love not knowing. I love second guessing it because that means somebody is doing something right. And we've been doing this at the ends of a lot of our podcasts where we want to remind everybody constantly sit back, relax, enjoy it. It's fun. When we can't figure it out or when everybody has a million different ideas or theories or possible bookings that could happen, it means somebody's doing something right because we can't figure it out. If we could figure everything out, it would be super boring. There's stuff that we're going to like, there's stuff we're not going to like, there's stuff that we're going to love. And not all of that is always going to be the same for everybody. But I think as a wrestling community, I think we should all be able to agree that it's exciting when we don't know. It's exciting when we get to say, dang, Tiffany got cooked on the mic in that. It's
Mm-hmm.
fun to do that because you go, what's going to happen now? Because
Mm-hmm.
now something has to happen. That's the
There's
beauty
gonna be
of
a
wrestling.
response.
There has to be a response to that. That's where the fun comes in. So even with Jey Uso, where we have to go a week going, oh man, that looked really bad. Look like he botched that. They clean it up. Now it makes sense. And because it feels believable. So I'm okay with letting stuff play out. I'm curious about the Chelsea Green. I honestly really haven't thought about that much. So kind of wild that, again, like you said, we're not talking about that. We're 26 days away from WrestleMania, and we haven't really gotten into Chelsea Green of much of anything except her and Michin, which again that's fine, but I don't know if you're selling a lot of tickets to WrestleMania for Chelsea Green and Michin. And that's no offense to them. I love Chelsea Green, but that title
Yeah,
has to mean something at a certain point.
yeah, and like no, I came out hot with that Jey Uso stuff, but like
It was good.
what I appreciate about like there is certain individuals that have fair criticism towards Jay, like our guy Joe, and what I
Yeah,
appreciate about Joe is Joe has never been high on Jay necessarily, and Jay needs to show him something
yeah,
that to change. And my problem is not with that. Like, there's wrestlers I like that you don't like. We're going to disagree. It's the fact that, like, the people that were with me, like, wanting this guy to get his moment, are all of a sudden all gone. And I'm like, man, the switch up is crazy and it sucks. So that is more where my frustration was coming from. But uh, I had to throw that one out there because you did talk me off the ledge a little bit. I was just like, man, where did everyone go? Where did everyone go?
Us wrestling fans are a fickle people. We generally don't like what we're given unless we directly ask for it. Then when we are given it, we're not happy with it. So it's the way that wrestling has always been. But when it's at its best, we can see the faults, but keep rolling with it and see where they're going to take us next. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. Not everything works out like last year with Cody and just having lightning in a bottle with that story. Not
Yeah,
everything works out that way, but you can get close. And I feel like we're starting to build up to it now. We've been saying that for a while, but we're finally starting to get all the pieces together. We're going to get a favor cashed in. The WrestleMania 41 card is going to start coming into focus, and then we can start getting really uh, precision, laser focused on what's trying to be done and who's where and who's on what side. But getting there is the fun parts. Let's not waste that, everybody. Let's
yeah.
enjoy the ride. Sometimes the ride is better than the destination.
I'm enjoying the ride right now. Because the ride of doing this actually has been paying off just a little bit. We're getting a few more of you guys tuning into the podcast weekly. I want to give out a shout out to everyone on TikTok. We had a
Yeah,
video that did really well for itself. So if you just followed over there, from the TikTok and you're over here on the YouTube now. We I just want to say we appreciate all of
absolutely.
you. It has been a lot of fun doing this, and it is a good thing that me and Brian get to hop on here every week and talk about some wrestling. So we appreciate all of you, and we want you to know that.
Absolutely, man. When I want people to be able to listen to this and listen to us and just put themselves somewhere with a group of friends and hopefully listen to us like they would some of the wrestling friends. You know,
Mhm.
we're not in the business, we're not part of it, we haven't been part of it. We're literally just fans that like watching and have a lot of fun and like to talk about it. So
Yeah,
hopefully anybody who's listening to us, you guys feel like you're just one of us and we're just a couple of guys talking with you. If that's the case, that's like the best that I could hope for. Me and Will really like talking about wrestling. We have a lot of fun with it. And if other people are along with us, that's even better, man. So thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it.
but that being said, Brian, you got anything else for him?
Uh, no, I want to thank everybody over at the Realm Paranormal Podcast. If you guys came over and found us, I'm glad you guys are here. If you guys who are listening to us right now, if you're interested in the paranormal stuff, go over on your YouTubes and go to the Realm Paranormal Podcast. Check that out. We got some sweet paranormal podcasts for you. Also, just to let everybody know, for WrestleMania weekend, you know, if you've been following us, you know I've been bantying about what activities we would be partaking in my beloved Las Vegas. So we will be at NXT Stand and Deliver. Uh, we got pretty good seats. We're not going to be on the floor. We'll be just off the floor. But that's because we were able to procure our spots at the roast of WrestleMania, which is happening Sunday night after WrestleMania at Fountain Blue in Las Vegas. No cameras, no phones allowed. We got to put them in a zippered bag and lock it up. It's not going to be on TV. I think Paul Heyman, Sami Zayn, Braun Strowman, and I forget who else are already scheduled to be there. But I'm really excited for this, guy. So I'll be able to keep everybody in the loop of what's going on. I'll be sending stuff back Will's way so he could throw it out onto the social medias. And I can give a firsthand account of what's going down WrestleMania weekend in Vegas. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, we might be the only podcast with a roast of WrestleMania review. That's
Ooh, You know what? You know what's going to be funny about that is I'm going to come out because I can't have my phone, so I'll feverishly have to be taking down notes of jokes that are being said, and then I will look at all of those jokes, and I'll have to pick the ones that are family friendly enough for me to say on here, which is just going to be a big blooper reel of me having the beep sound going over everything because it's going to get crazy in there, but I will be able to explain everything properly in a very family friendly manner and hopefully still make it funny. I'll at least be able to explain what went on. It should be cool.
Yes. There's a lot to we have a what is it a Mania 9 review coming soon.
Ooh, everybody, yes. Our next retro rewatch, we're going to do WrestleMania 9 from Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. We thought that'd be a nice little treat for you guys going into Mania. That's in Vegas this year. What better way to do it than to do a retro rewatch of the first WrestleMania that took place in Las Vegas? We'll have that coming to you guys probably right before WrestleMania. We'll throw that thing out, and you guys can sit back, put on Peacock, turn on WrestleMania 9, and then come listen to us. It'll be great. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. Um, and I'm trying to think about anything else. More lists are coming out, guys. Y'all have been loving those on the
Yeah.
TikTok. We got a couple thousand views on those. I got two dropping tomorrow. So, or they'll probably already be out by the time you're listening to this. So just keep your eyes out for that because y'all love You Just Made the List. So I'm happy you guys
Yes.
are enjoying that and enjoying the podcast, and we appreciate all of you guys.
Yep. Well, if you don't got anything else, Will, I'm Brian. He's Will. We'll catch you guys next time on Wrestling with the Realm podcast. Peace.
Love y'all. See you. Yeah, there's only one other thing I got for him, Brian.
What is that?
I got some new Pokemon cards.
Oh, here we go.
No.
Okay, Logan Paul, bust it out.
All right, hold on. I'm on my
boy.
Paul stuff. Guys, look at this one. We got a new Miss Spirit secret illustration rare. This one's mine, guys, not on the eBay. This is one of my favorite Pokemon. I've been chasing this card for a minute. This Duskinier, you guys can have this. I'll even give you guys a little WWR discount. 10, 15 bucks maybe. And then this dude's pretty cool. He can be a throw-in if you pay $20 for this one. I'll give you the rest of this for free. Come on, guys. Come on.
Man, I am so old that I actually played Pokemon. I wasn't just collecting cards, man. We were
didn't have them in
Pokemon.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I walked around with them in a Ziploc bag at work so we could play at break against somebody who would purposely get the opposite deck of me so he could beat me. Yeah, that was fun. Like you're going through yours, like I got a Charizard and I got that. Like, I had that guy. He wasn't anything special. He didn't win me very much. And you're like, hey, oh no, he's a cool card.
Whoever that one guy is that got the opposite deck of Brian, you really hurt his feelings because that's the second time he's brought you up this week when we've been talking about Pokemon.
His name is Will.
Oh my God. Guys, you missed a segue right there. That although you are our WWR family, we could not bring you along for that one, guys, because we just got into some Pokemon drama.
Yeah, drama.
I'm not talking about Logan Paul scamming people on like cryptocurrency type of Pokemon drama. Like I'm talking about some real life stuff.